Hello, fabulous Libra. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of November 2014, General Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. Regular friends and fans know that ever since the month of September, I've been talking about the fact that Mercury has been moving through your sign. Yes, dipping into Scorpio as well, but pretty much spending most of that time since the month of September in your sign. First going direct, and then in the month of October, retrograde in your sign, and now direct. As you start this month, for the first week of the month, you've still got Mercury in your sign, retracing steps that he took in the late part of September. What came up at that time towards the end of September, the considerations and the questions now will get their further points of clarity. When Mercury retrogrades in your sign, it tends to denote an important time of you getting clear about your next steps and getting clear, most importantly, as to who you are. What is it that you're actually doing? What is it that you're actually going for? What is it that matters to you most in your heart? There's also an element of Mercury retrograde in your sign that I think has to do with messages that you receive about who you are. So this is about you getting that clarity, that inner understanding as to who you really are and where that understanding of who you are is your own, and more importantly, where it is not your own. So where is it that you picked up messages about who you are that no longer resonate with you or never really resonate with you? There's a level here of clarity, there's a level here of self-honesty as well, and there's a chance for you to see where, in at least one way, you've thought about yourself in a way that didn't really have anything to do with you. It didn't really have anything to do with who it is that you believe yourself to be and what it is that you most desire to do next. So it does look very likely that in the late part of September, so going just a little bit back, late part of September, some consideration, some desire likely came up for you at that time. And you thought, yes, I could do this. Yes, I want this. This resonates with who I really am. And maybe there was a little part of you that wasn't so sure, but maybe you weren't listening to it because that other part of you that said, yeah, I know before I said I didn't really want this, or I had some doubts, but I think now, yeah, I could do this. Why not? Well, now comes your answers. Can you really do this? Is this what you really want? Is it worth the cost? Not necessarily financially, although financially may play an element into it. However, is it worth the time, the effort, the energy that would be required were you to consider and continue to pursue a certain path? For a huge number of you, I think the answer is going to be no. Now comes the real clarity as to what you really want to do and what you have to do next. And that's going to allow you to create a very clear plan going forward. So welcome that. This is a time, and especially in the first week of the month for you, some very important resolutions take place and some very important questions find their answers. Undeniably, you know that you have received the answer that you have been seeking. As we progress into the month, and right around the same time, just as Mercury is finishing off this visit in your sign, this extended and special and rare visit through your sign, we have a full moon taking place. And this full moon is taking place in a part of the sky that has to do with finances. It has to do with money. So this theme around money is actually one that you began last month. Last month we had an eclipse take place in the part of the sky for you that had to do with money that you earn. But developments also spoke to and also indicated what was coming up for you this month with this particular full moon. This is not so much about the money that you're earning. This is about the money that comes as a result of things like grants, loans, bursaries, insurance payments, tax returns, health benefits, even health benefits in the sense from the financial perspective, actually, not necessarily the health part of it, but benefits in general, and insurance payouts, scholarships, loans even. So all of that being covered under this part of the sky, and it has to do with dealing with financial institutions. So you've got this full moon taking place in this part of the sky, just as you are finishing off a cycle where you are coming to understand what you really want to do and who you really are, what really matters to you. And this particular full moon is speaking in supreme harmony with Mars and Pluto. Now, both of these planets are really power players in the sky, and power being the operative word. They really are that power punch, that power player. They are really about taking the most effective action, taking action, but making sure that it's effective, making sure it gets right to the core so that you can experience the kind of change that you most desire to experience. So, and we've got these planets speaking in a part of the sky for you that reaches right to the very foundation of your chart, of your sky. And so I look at this configuration, and there are a few different ways I see this playing out. I do see a very strong financial focus on this. But because of the element, the connection to past, connection to family, connection to home, another element that I think is likely to play out with this configuration does have to do with a more emotional realm as well. Ultimately, this is a configuration that says you are cared for, you are understood, and you are provided for, financially and emotionally. When I see a configuration like this, what generally I do tend to see, what tends to happen is at least one member of your family that maybe you thought didn't really understand you, didn't really support you, what it was that you've been trying to do, what it is that you want to do, make some sort of a very undeniable statement in some way, whether it's an actual conversation, which is possible. But it could also be just through their actions. They let you know that they believe in you, that they support you, that there is an emotional understanding there, that they're proud of you even. And, you know, sometimes, especially the older we get, we sort of dismiss that. We sort of think, okay, like I'm an adult now, I can approve of myself. I can tell myself I'm proud of myself. It doesn't matter what other people think, which is a part of maturity, certainly, is to know that you can provide for yourself those things that you might have looked outside of yourself for. It's a part of maturity. It's a part of growing up as well. But there is something very deep within us that still is touched when we get those types of messages, no matter how old we get, when we get those types of messages from key members of our family, people like our parents or other maternal and paternal figures in our family. When we get that affirmation that they're proud of us, that what we're doing is right and is approved of in their eyes, well, there is something that reaches very deep within us that allows us to feel a certain type of self-acceptance, thanks to the acceptance of someone that we actually respect, or someone who has played a key role in our development, especially going back to childhood. This configuration does speak to that type of affirmation taking place. Again, whether it's just through a conversation, whether it's through some action that makes it undeniable. But it may also be in a very practical sense as well. When I see this configuration, because of the association with care and being provided for, this could be actually money, really is what it comes down to. This could be you receiving some money through family channels. For some of you, this might be an inheritance coming through finally. This could be, yes, of course, because of family, because of the connection to home. It could be through the sale of a home as well. But very likely, I do think, given the different positions of the planets, it does look like the possibility of just a family member lending you money or even giving you money and saying, I believe in you, I trust what you're doing, go for it, here's my support. And there's a practical element to that as well, may play out. There's another part of this energy as well. It may not necessarily have to do so much with family or home, although that could be the case as well, where you get, if you're trying to buy or sell right now, you could get a great, sort of a great mortgage. I'm not a banking person so much. However, this has to do with getting a really great rate or a great mortgage or a great deal, having great terms on your mortgage. If you sell, getting a much higher price than you thought. All of that could play out with this particular full moon. There's another element here as well that has to do with if there is money that you've been trying to access or that you desire to access. Maybe you thought you qualified for a source of funding and then it turned out that you didn't. Well, now you could hear back and be like, okay, yeah, actually you do qualify. What you thought you were pursuing before in terms of financing that didn't seem to work out, now you might actually get either another shot or another avenue reveals itself based on the connections you've already made to people in your past, based on people that you may be also connected with well in your past as well. So it may also be that because of a family member, you hear about some new program where you can go and you can access funding as well. Some new opportunity that may be there for you to qualify for some type of loan or scholarship that you've been hoping to get. So this ultimately, the larger lesson here with this full moon has to do with prosperity. It has to do with being open to greater prosperity than you knew before. And it has to do with you welcoming a type of abundance that comes with a sense of understanding that there is a deeper support and deeper dynamics at play here, that no action is ever wasted, and that what you are doing and the work that you've just recently done, getting to know yourself better, ultimately it is from that place of self-knowledge. When you are rooted in that, now taking action from that place, you will find that the universe rewards you with at least one financial boost.